Welcome to Goa, India. In this video, I'm going to be showing you around the beaches of southern Goa. Goa is located on the west coast of India along the Arabian Sea. It is famous for its beaches and its delicious Goan food. I've decided to hold up here for a while. I'm going to spend a whole month exploring and relaxing on the beautiful beaches of Agonda and Palolem. Although these beaches are close to each other, they offer completely different experiences. I'm starting off in Agonda Beach, which is known for its laid-back vibe. I'm staying at the northern end of the beach at a really great little place called the Sea Star. And I have a really nice room with a balcony that overlooks the beach. Agonda Beach is built up, but in a really nice way. The beach is made up of nice little resorts made of wooden cabins. No big concrete hotels here. This keeps Agonda Beach from being overcrowded. Agonda Beach is 3 kilometers long, and I haven't walked its entire length yet. For now, I'm just going to enjoy this area. The majority of people staying here are Indian families on vacation. This isn't a big party scene. This is family-friendly beach, but there is plenty to do. There's kayaking, boat trips, snorkeling, or just swimming in the ocean. The water here is also very clean, and there is a nice sandy bottom. But you have to be careful because there are some big waves rolling in. Right at the northern edge of the beach is a small river that empties into the ocean. It is really peaceful and serene, especially in the mornings. There are always at least a couple of people down here fishing at the outlet with nets, which I find so fascinating to watch. In the mornings, you can also see the fishing boats coming back in, and they're always followed by eagles looking for a free fish or two. You can do a bit of a backwater experience here on the river, and that's what I'm on my way to do this morning. It's 7 a.m. and the temperature is perfect. It gets pretty hot here during the day, but the mornings and the evenings feel wonderful. So our boat just went by a fishing area on the river, and our guide Rashi was telling us that they cannot fish during the monsoon for about 2 months. So they dry a lot of the fish there, and then they last several months, up to a year. I really can't overstate what a wonderful excursion this was. The channels of the river are lined with coconut palms, and there are birds everywhere. It is just such a calm and relaxing way to spend a morning. So we just finished our little boat tour in the backwaters here in Goa, and this is our boat right here behind us, and this is Rashi Pagi. He was our guide, and we'll put his contact information down below. And it was wonderful. It is so beautiful. So peaceful, so many birds. It was fantastic. I saw little green beak hedgers, 3 kinds of kingfishers, herons, storks, and he knew the name of all the birds. It was wonderful. And I got to tell you, for $6 a person, it was money well spent. It was so much fun. Behind the beach in Agonda, there is really just one narrow road that is lined with little shops and restaurants. The best thing is that you are in a palm tree forest here. It is really beautiful, and most of the places to stay here did a nice job building around the coconut palms. I have found that the food here in Goa is a little more expensive than it was in Kerala, but that's to be expected. I am at the beach in a major tourist destination. I've eaten quite a few meals at the place I'm staying, and they've all been really good, but they are a little more pricey. Today I'm having lunch at a local place, just a block off the beach, called D Raj. I ate here once before and had the traditional Indian thali, and it was delicious. So I got a variety of things to try. I got the prawn vindaloo, which is a Goan specialty, and it comes with rice. And I got egg curry with chapati. I'm going to start with the prawn vindaloo. Let's give this a try. A little spicy, very tangy. Man, there's a lot of flavors going on in there. Chilies, cilantro. I know there's ghee in there, turmeric. I really don't know what all is in there, but I do know that it's delicious. So now I'm going to try the egg curry. This is a curry with 2 boiled eggs in it. That is fabulous. Not as spicy as the vindaloo, but full of flavor. It's definitely a comforting food. There's a lot going on. It's not spicy, but it's filled with spices. I know there's turmeric and ginger and some chili powder. Now I'm going to try a piece of my chapati with this fabulous curry sauce. I love chapatis. That's perfection. It is so nice to know that if I put out a little effort and just go a block or 2 off the beach, I can find really reasonably priced food here in Goa. So this morning I moved from the north end of Agonda Beach down to the south end, and I'm now staying at a place called Oasis Beach Resort, and this is my cabin. It is spacious, clean, and actually it looks like it's brand new. The majority of accommodations on Agonda Beach are these types of cabins, but I do miss my sea-facing balcony that I had before. The best part about staying here at the Oasis is that I'm only a few steps from the beach, but things are definitely different at this end of the beach. Even though I only moved about 1 kilometer, the vibe at this end of the beach is completely different. There are a lot more foreign tourists here for sure, and a lot more restaurants catering to them, including many vegetarian and vegan places. Overall, there are just more people staying down at this end. This end of the beach is even nicer, and even has some nice surfing waves. I guess I am a little surprised about the difference at this end of the beach, considering I moved such a short distance. But I am glad I'm staying at opposite ends of the beach so I can experience them both. Also, where there was a river outlet at the north end, down here there are all these big boulders and a big rocky outcropping at the point. There's even this little hidden beach behind the boulders that stops all the big waves from coming in. Just look at this spot. A beautiful clean beach, calm clear waters, big boulders, forest-covered mountains. This is just beautiful. I love it here. And best of all, other than a couple of fishermen down at the end, I have this whole place to myself this morning. So I've traveled on to Palolem Beach, And honestly, I can't believe that I've only gone a few kilometers down the road to the next beach town. Take a look at this scene here behind me. This place is really built up and busy. I arrived a few hours before I could check into my accommodation. So I came down to the beach to have some lunch at one of the nice beachfront restaurants. And I really was shocked at what I saw. This place is a full-on tourist scene. The entire beach is lined with restaurants, small resorts, and bars. Everything seems to be a little bit more expensive here as well. The room I'm staying in here is not beachfront, but it is more expensive than the places I stayed in on Agonda Beach that were beachfront. While the room is big and very nice, I do miss having an ocean view. The food and drinks are also a little bit pricier here. Another thing I noticed right away is that Palolem Beach is completely different than Agonda Beach. It's not nearly as wide, and there aren't any big waves to play in or surf in like there are at Agonda Beach. Palolem sits on a bay, and the water here is just really calm. The sand is a little more inviting because I did have to contend with some cow patties at Agonda Beach. Also, the beach here is about half as long as it was at Agonda. Even though the beach gets really crowded, the mornings out here are just wonderful. If you get out early enough, it is really peaceful, and the majority of the people on the beach are fishermen. And I saw them out about 7 a.m. pulling a huge net across the bay. I am first staying at the north end of Palolem Beach, and we'll move down to the other end in a few days. But just like at Agonda Beach, there is a river outlet and estuary here. I took a boat trip up the river yesterday morning, and it was really nice. Here they have a massive amount of birds of prey, and they actually feed them so you can watch, and wow, it was really something to see. So on this morning's adventure, I got a little bit too early of a start. There is an island across the estuary, and I've been seeing people walk across the estuary, go over there, and there's another beach. So I thought I'll get an early start and go over. But the tide wasn't out quite far enough, and before I knew it, I found myself wading across the river with water up to my neck, and I was carrying my bag on one arm over my head, but I got across. Now I just have to sit here and wait for the tide to go out a little more so I can get around some rocks to get to this other beach. So I waited for about 30 minutes and let the tide go out a little bit more, and I was able to get around all the rocks to the other side of this little island without too much trouble. I always did like a little adventure in the morning. But it's absolutely beautiful here, and I am the only one here. So it was well worth the trouble to get over here. So I'm gonna relax, have a nice swim, and of course going back is gonna be much easier than getting over here was. Once I got around the big rocky part and was walking down a little beach over here, there's a big pointed shaped rock, and it's shaped like a shark's tooth. And on this side of the rock, you can't see it from the other side, on this side, somebody had painted a big shark with its mouth open and all these jagged teeth. I don't know who did that, but kudos to you because it looks awesome. After a few days at the north end of the beach, I moved down to the south end of Palolem, and it's even more crowded down here. Again, I'm not staying directly on the water, but back in the village at a nice little family-run place called the Hilias Retreat. There's another small beach at the far southern end of Palolem, just behind these big rocks. You can just walk around if the tide is low, or there's a staircase that leads up over the hillside. On this beach, there's a few small resorts and restaurants tucked into the hillside. And it's a great place to come if you just need an escape from the crowd. One thing you need to keep in mind if you come to South Goa is the location of ATMs. Agonda had one ATM at the center of the village, but I was able to get money from it all but one time. But here in Palolem, it's a little more difficult. Surprisingly, there is not an ATM at the beach. You will need to head into the nearby town of Canacona. There are several ATMs from a few different banks, so you can hit more than one. The daily limit from an ATM is 10,000 rupees, or about 120 US dollars. I've been taking a tuk-tuk into town to hit the ATMs, but you can easily walk it if you want to. So which is my favorite beach, Agonda or Palolem? For me, that's easy. I definitely prefer Agonda Beach. I know there's a lot of people that really like the scene at Palolem Beach, but for me, I like the laid-back crowds, the easy vibe, and the cheaper prices at Agonda. I also enjoyed playing in the big waves at Agonda Beach. I enjoyed it so much that I'm going back there tomorrow. It's also really nice that the beaches are so close together. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, because there is so much more to come from India and beyond.